the one or two or three or four times that I did it, it just got such a buzz that I thought, oh, okay, well, I'm just yelling.
Can you give us a Scott, please?
Yes, yes. Scott!
From the heart of Hollywood, it's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show with Patrick Labyorteaux.
It's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show. Patrick Labyorteaux. He's the one you gotta know.
Tonight's episode, Mindy Sterling.
Patrick Labyorteaux Show. He's the one you gotta know.
You know her as Frau Farbissina from Austin Powers and 1,000 other credits. I know her as my favorite Groundlings teacher and my friend for life. I can't get over how long we've known each other. Please welcome Mindy Sterling.
Woo! Nice.
Mindy, welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Nice to be here.
So I am thrilled that you're here, and let's just give a little ground settings here. We've known each other. I mean, it's so weird because we're like in our mid-20s, but we've known each other since the 70s, right?
Yeah.
So we met at the Golden Mall Playhouse, which is, I just talked with Patrick Labyorteaux,
Oh
who was
my God.
also a member of the Golden Mall people there. But we worked together in, was it Bye Bye Birdie? Was it the one?
I think it was Bye Bye Birdie.
Okay. And so you were just a kid. I was literally a kid.
Act 1, Beginnings.
How did you get there? What's your origin story? How did you get into acting, and how did you get to Hollywood?
Well, I realized I was kind of growing up, I was very shy and wasn't very, didn't, feel like I fit in anywhere until I saw theater. And the people behind it, and I thought, oh my God, these are my people. This is silly, fun stuff, laughing, blah blah blah. So I started doing theater, in school, and I loved it so much. And my dad was an entertainer, and it just kind of, whether it was,
I didn't know that. What kind of part of entertainment was he in?
His name was Dick Sterling, and he was an incredible singer. And he did some films, and but just a funny, crazy guy. So my mom was very full of life, and I just I just thought, oh my God, laughing is the way to get through a lot of things, and so I got into it, and I just loved it so much, and I loved theater because I'm still very, animated and big and loud and, and all the things that come with it. And I just was like, I got to do this. So after school, I went to...
Where were you at this point?
I was in Florida.
Like,
I was in Miami. I was raised in Miami, Florida. In North Miami Beach.
So that's a metropolitan city. If your dad's a singer, there's a ton of Fontainebleau and a ton of other places. I'm sure
he did have, performing at. And he was he worked with Shecky Green. They were an act.
Oh, cool.
Yes. So he was always kind of the man, next to the big comedian, and but he was himself just hysterical. So. He was doing a lot of things, in Miami Beach, and he was doing shows, and but I did whatever I could, in Miami, and then I met a boyfriend, and he said he wanted to also be doing this too, and so he said, well, look, why don't I go to LA? I'll get everything set up for us, and then you can come. And I said, okay. Never left home. I've never been alone. I've just always had people around me. Wow. So I know. So so I went out there, and it didn't work with him, but I started doing theater. And trying to get,
And was that, when you say started doing theater, was that at the Golden Mall Playhouse or just
I don't remember.
places
I think
around town?
It might have been that, but it was. I did one thing called, oh God, what was that called? It was a musical. It was in Burbank, and
there was the Golden Mall Theater, which was different, and then the Golden Mall Playhouse, which was it's kind of similar. There was also the Glendale Center. There's a lot of them around.
I know. I don't know if it was in Glendale, but I want to say it was like in Burbank, something like that. And it was something with A.N.T. something with A.N.T. Anyway, so
Wow.
I know. So
A.N.T has followed you around your whole career.
and and then and then I started getting commercials and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Then I got I mean, just really whatever you were supposed to do, that's kind of where
Right.
I was. And and then when I got into the Groundlings and I was doing improv, that was the best thing I ever did. I just
Okay, so
loved
this is where I think you are born and start in the world of Hollywood. I think, just to the people listening or watching, sometimes the podcasts are really long. Sometimes they're very economic. This is an economic podcast. We're going to speed through a couple of these things, but I do want to stop here at the Groundlings because it's so important, not only for us personally, but for comedy, for television, for I've got all this stuff prepared. I want to read something so everyone understands what the deal is. So the Groundlings, you can tell me more. I want to hear more from you. It's legendary. It's a legendary improv troupe that's based here in Hollywood. When they were putting together the first Saturday Night Live, Lorraine Newman came from there. Also, these are just, I'm going to list the people that I know that went through here. Phil Hartman, Jan Hooks, John Lovitz, Edie McClurg, Cassandra Peterson, who is Elvira, Paul Rubens, who is Pee Wee Herman. These are the people that you, I think, interacted with, whether it was performing with or teaching. Writers Tim Stack and Jonathan Stark, who are amazing, Maggie Baird, Patrick Bristow, Stephen Craig, Chris Darger, Roger Eschbacher, Will Ferrell, Melanie Graham, Kathy Griffin, Steve Hibbert, Michael Hitchcock, Roy Jenkins, Jennifer Joyce, Chris Kattan, Lisa Kudrow, Phil Lamar, Michael McDonald, Sherry O'Terry, Chris Parnell, Mary Shear, Sherry Stoner, Julia Sweeney, Jordan Black, Jennifer Coolidge, Will Forte, Anna Gasteyer, Rachel Harris, Cheryl Hines, Mike Laprete, Karen Murayama, Wendy McClendon Covey, Annie Mumolo, Brian Palermo, Maya Rudolph, Tony Sepulveda, Mary Jo Smith, Kristen Wiig, Jillian Bell, Mike Day, Ben Falcone, Nat Faxon, Heidi Gardner, Damon Jones, Taryn Killam, Melissa McCarthy, Jim Rash, Jeremy Rowley, Michaela Watkins.
yes.
Watkins. Okay. I had to do that because if you don't know Groundlings, you don't understand how, like, half the cast of SNL went through there. Half the comedy, like Annie Mumolo wrote Bridesmaids. Kristen Wiig is in Bridesmaid. Nat Faxon, I think they won an Oscar. Like these, Ben Falcone's a director. Just an unbelievable amount of people. And the thing that we were talking about and why I wanted to make it all so connected, and then I'll let you talk. I met you again when I went through the program there, and the
What
people
year
that
was
I
that?
went through. It was like 93-ish, because it was right before Anna, Will, Chris, and just a bunch of them went off to SNL.
Okay.
So it's like we were going through the program at that time. But you were my teacher. And not only that, you were teaching there, and we'll get to how you found it, but you've taught so many people that have affected comedy, period, that I think I really did want to take this time to explain to people how important you are to comedy. Because you not only are you a familiar face, everyone knows you from Austin Powers, and then they know you from 1,000 other things, which they may not be able to name, but every time they see you, they go, I know her. But it's the teaching that is so impressive to me, that you've molded comedians. So now I'm done with my monologue. Please tell me your experience, your wonderful time at Groundlings, and how you got involved, like from beginning to how you got to teaching.
Well, oh my God, another one of the best things I ever did. And I still love it so much. I don't know, before the Groundlings, I auditioned and got into something else. It was a different company. And I found it just okay, I learned a lot, but there were so many people that were at the Groundlings that were doing it as well. So they were like, just trying to do as much improv as possible. So I kind of followed their lead. And when I got to the Groundlings, they just, they saw my background, and I mean, you have to audition to get in. Everybody starts at the same place. But because I did so much, improv and I worked with a lot of people that were in it. They kind of just moved me up to the second level. And
Right.
it was incredible. It was just I mean, there's nothing more than I wanted was a Friday and Saturday night show back to back, and it's all I wanted to do, all I wanted to do, and that's kind of how it works. And yeah, it's not everybody gets in, but you always will
Right.
get something so important and so um, something that you will always bring with you, and whether you believe it or not, it will get stuck in your brain, and you will be able to go somewhere with the stuff that we gave you. So I always use
Right.
that, to with students and stuff. And then
Just
I
to
would,
punch in here, just to using me as an example, I was in the Sunday show. I went through the program. I was never a groundling. The groundlings is a specific group of people that performs, like you're saying, Friday and Saturday night. There are hundreds of actors and performers like myself who got the training from you guys, but were never official groundlings, and still, it's the best part of my life still. So, please,
well, yeah, and
continue.
also too, being in the Sunday company, you were in your own company, so you performed on Sundays, and
That's true.
and you were always, as far as I know, that still has an incredible audience, and you
Yep.
see people, and a lot of casting people would come to see, oh, who are the newbies, or who is coming the up in the part of life, and you were given probably, I don't know, I mean, you're there for either, you could be there for um one um
I
one,
think it's 6 months.
yeah, 6 months, or
Yeah.
2 months, and so I think that
I
that's
maxed out at 3 tours. I think you get 3 times at it, and then you're either voted up or you
yes.
get to go
And so the lovely
open up the
thing is,
spot for someone else.
exactly, you do whatever.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, so you were given so many great opportunities to be seen, to try to work on what you want to do and find out who you are and blah, blah, blah. And it's still huge today. It's still going on. I don't
that's
teach as
fantastic.
often. I loved it so much. But it
So I'm
is.
sorry. So I keep interrupting. It's the worst
All
thing
right.
in all the comments, and every commenter is correct. It's like I'm a horrible interviewer, but I'm really interested. Okay, so when you joined Groundlings in your group, who? I mean, when you were coming up, what was it that who were you performing with?
John Lovitz,
Uh huh.
and Kathy Griffin. Who else was I with? I mean, there were people that when I got in, I was like, oh my God, it's all these people. And they didn't even they weren't anyone that got into something else, that quickly. But as as a performer, those are the people I looked at and went,
Yeah.
oh my God, look at all this, amazing, amazing talent. And
Well,
yes,
also, I think this is so funny about the Groundlings too. And again, we're so Groundlings oriented that we'll name all the names, and you'll name all the famous names, and everyone will go, "Oh, wow!" Yet there's always going to be 5 or 10 people that no one's ever heard of that were the funniest people that you've ever seen, bar none.
well, what I loved about what you did when you announced everybody, that was, on that list, there were
Uh huh.
people that people may not recognize or know, and maybe they went into
Right.
another kind of venue. So I thank you for mentioning their names that the normal people wouldn't know unless they were out there, a lot.
Right.
It just gave everybody, like, you have no idea how talented people were when they went through, whether they decided that they wanted more of it or less of it or whatever. It is just magic. And the good thing is it's still around, it's still doing well. Um, and I hope that it continues. During the COVID, we stuck in there.
That's
We
great.
did we did stuff from home, and it just yeah, it's pretty amazing. And all the people, there's a new girl that's on SNL right now, Ashley,
Uh
and
huh.
she just was, yeah, she got into the Groundlings, and not too long, and then she moved up.
Well, if people ever wanted to know how do people get on SNL, there's 3 direct routes: UCB, Second City, and
Yeah.
Groundlings. And I don't know who has the most, but I know that for a while in the 90s, it was like the whole company from Groundlings went up. Like half of my Sunday show went up, including Parnell, Gasteyer, and a bunch of other
Oh my
people.
God, really? You were with them?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. That was the group I was in. So I mean, it was to when you're at Groundlings and you experience this, you get to write sketches. It's just like a mini SNL. You
yeah.
write sketches, you put up characters, and I got to work with all these people, which were amazing.
Yeah.
And so when you joined, you're doing the same thing. It's like a mini SNL. How did you get into the teaching part of it, and why did you? Not that you gave up anything, you still did everything the same, but why did you want to add that to what you were doing?
Perfect. Perfect question. I was working on, I needed to make money. So I was, like a receptionist at a company, and I would answer the, blah, blah. And then when I had to go out for auditions and stuff, I would tell, the people that I worked with, I'll be back probably in just like, an hour, 2 hours, tops. And they were okay, really cool about it, blah, blah. And then after a while, I was going out a little more frequently. And and the boss called me into his office and said, "Look, I know that you're doing this and blah blah blah, but you're missing a lot of stuff, and it puts it on everybody else. So you have to make a choice. Which one do you want?" And I said, "Oh, I want to be an actress." And he goes, "Okay." So I remember turning around and going by and turning around and just like crying and just like a full. And I thought, "What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?" And I was at the theater, and Cynthia Seghetti, who was one of my mentors as a teacher, she said, "You're going to teach, Mindy." And I was like, "Oh my God, no, I can't step in front of people and talk to Mindy. You're going to do this, and you're going to be great." And I took her advice, and I started, teaching and getting better and better and loving it. And oh my God, I feel I can take care of people. Because I'm a caretaker. I love, what can I do to help you? And I just fell in love with it. And that was huge. How that changed my life and who I am. And it's great. It was great.
Well, I can say I can give you the viewpoint of the student. There are, I have an acting school, and that it's one of those things where you
Is
can't.
It in your house?
Yeah, I just do it off of Zoom. I just do it like this.
Right,
So
yeah.
it's like, it started in the, whatchamacallit, the COVID time.
Yes.
But I've also been in other acting classes where they love to tear the person down and then build them up brick by brick. And that's not Mindy.
No.
Mindy is, here's some cookies, and that was an awesome sketch. And here's how you can make it better.
Yes.
Here's how you improve your space work. Here's how you create a character. Here's what you need to do. And it was such a loving embrace after so many hard improv. I was in another improv group where the guy was like a dictator, like here's how you have to do it. And while there's rules so that everyone can play along nicely, it's like you were a very, like you said, caretaker. It's like you took care of the students. And I get that too, because as an actor, you are shouting into the wind, waiting for the call that you got the job. But with teaching, which I've experienced and I know from you, you feel the direct response because you're watching someone else grow as a performer based on your guidance. And again, I know I'm talking a lot here, but
That's all right. Go.
I'm fascinated by when you get in to teach these people that it's the balance between not telling them the choice to make, but showing them the way to allow them to pick the best choice that's coming up in their head.
Right. It's that whole yes and theory. That's the one thing that you are given is, okay, so everything is yes and. We don't negate. We don't, we just are listening, and we are working together. It's a community. It's a company, so you're there to take care of each other. So I still feel that is a huge part of the Groundlings philosophy. So, and in life, because they do a lot of, what do you call it, when they go out and they do
Corporate?
corporate things, and it has been incredibly helpful to these companies and how much they love them. So that's kind of like my life too. Is I want to show you other places to go or better, higher decisions to make. Getting to better. Because if you do it this way, then you're going to get a much better scene or a character or whatever. And then
Right.
you can look at people and you can go, they're fun. They're just not an actor, or they're trying too hard, or they're funny, but I don't know if this is the place for them. I mean, it's. But you're here to teach. You're here not to make them a star.
Right.
You're here to make them good improv people, and how to listen and understand why and all that. So yeah,
Do you have a story? And this I'm just popping into my head. Do you have a story about the biggest surprise that you found with teaching, like a particular student, like somebody came in and you're like, oh, and then before you know it, they're like blowing you away.
I don't know if there was. I mean, I definitely you can see somebody starting and that they're a little raw or they're a little nervous or that blah blah. I remember for Maya Rudolph,
Yeah.
I do remember telling her like something like, "Do you have any idea how good you are? Do you have any idea?"
Wow.
She didn't seem to
I
be.
can't believe that you're telling Maya Rudolph
Yes.
to believe in herself.
And
She's
I
so
did.
incredible.
I know, and it was like, when you're first starting, it's a whole new thing, and I said, "Yeah," I said, "God, you are so good, and I want you to find that for yourself." And there are a lot of people that maybe they're not quite as they don't feel it yet.
Right.
They don't have the confidence, and so the nice thing is to be able to say, this has nothing to do with you getting into Groundlings or not, but do you realize how much you've improved in the last 3 weeks or whatever. It's you are so, yeah.
Absolutely.
And so you're giving them, and it's true. I wouldn't say anything if I didn't believe it, but you always leave with great work, you guys. This is all new. This is all about taking, risks and listening. And that's
Yep.
and then and the people that want to be shitheads and whatever, it's yeah.
We'll be back after these messages.
Hey there, my name is Patrick Labyorteaux, and I play an actor on TV. And I also have this acting school called Working Actors School. And what we do there is we teach people to act using Zoom. So you can take an acting class with me and with a person in Connecticut, in Florida, and San Diego all at the same time, thanks to the miracle of Zoom. And I'm very excited to announce that we have a brand new class called Adult Weekly Class. Now, what is that? Now, that's a class that'll meet every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, and you come in and you have an hour-long acting class with other students. It's very, very simple, very, very fun. So if you've ever wanted to be an actor or try it or just mess around, these classes are great. So the Adult Weekly Class is going to be every Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific. Now come and check it out. It's going to be really fun. Go to workingactorschool.com. Check out the website. You can sign up for the class there. If you need any other information, there's a phone number and an email on the website. You can get it there. And we would love to have you come and try. Talk to you soon.
Act 2. Success.
I have another list of all your credits, which is over 200 credits on your IMDb. You have an entire voiceover career that could be a podcast all by itself. You've guested on so many TV shows, I stopped listing them because my fingers got tired. But you have like a whole career in Nickelodeon, in Disney. My son knows you from every single show, from Ant Farm to iCarly to Sweet Life, all of these great performances you've done. But because of time constraints, unfortunately, we can't talk about all of them. So I want to talk about Austin Powers, of course, because it's this huge
Sure.
thing. So you're at Groundlings. Here's the story I heard, then I want to hear the real story. I got a message at the Sunday show where one of the things that we were doing that there's going to be a special presentation at the theater, and they want a fun audience. Someone's going to be trying something out.
Oh my
And
God.
so I go to the theater, and it's Mike, and Mike Myers is trying out Austin Powers, and I think Jay Roach's, I'm going to say Jay Roach's wife, but I mean she's the head of the Bengals. She was
Yes.
there. Mike was there. He was doing Austin Powers,
Yes.
and it was crazy. It was like later we would know what he was doing, but obviously he's hysterical. So my experience with it was like out of nowhere, I see this character, and it's like, oh my God, it's Mike Myers, who's I think is incredibly talented. That's my experience. How did that happen?
That's perfect.
What happened?
That is it's exactly, because when people ask me, I'm like, oh God, I hope I remember this like that. Yes, I do remember that because how I met him was we were doing a class, not a class, a show, and Julia Sweeney brought him in, and to be,
You might know her from SNL. She played
Yes.
Pat, and
Yes.
she and her brother Mike. Mike was in my group as well. They were like stalwarts, and Steve Hibbert, I think.
Yes.
Were they married at one point? Yeah.
Yes, yes. Oh my
Yes,
God.
okay.
Oh my God. You have like a whole different. This is like going to another area that I don't get to, share. And then, so he said that, hey, I'm doing this thing. I would love for you to be a part of it. And I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't know where this was going, and blah blah blah. I know that Steve was in it. I don't know. There was me. There was Patrick Bristow.
Right.
And
Who was another teacher of mine, another groundling, and you might know him as the redheaded, bespectacled guy
Yes,
in everything
very
that you
funny.
saw, especially any NBC show of
Yes.
the mid-90s.
Yes, exactly. and I don't remember who else was in it, but I just remember, I don't even know what I did. I don't know if I did Frau. I don't know if, that part of it I don't remember. I just remember
Right.
being there and doing something with Mike Myers, and then it was like, okay, great. So now we want to, we've got this movie coming out, and we want you to, we're very interested in you. We want you to you have to, of course, audition, because, the people up here don't know who you are, and blah, blah, blah. And
Right.
so I did. And I was right
Now,
across.
when you're auditioning at this point, now Frau is a written character, or you're just coming in with the character?
No, this is she's German, and here is the sides, so they're seeing.
Okay.
And so I remember coming in, and just doing my thing, and I was right across from Jay, and we were doing the very first thing when we're all sitting at the table, and I'm talking about oh God, what am I talking about? The what do you call it? The cereal.
Okay.
Charms, the Lucky Charms, and then Jay said, okay, just improvise it. So I did my you talk about the children, they would you tell them it tastes like candy, so they eat it, but it's not.
Oh, and there's all these little tiny bits of marshmallows just stuck right in the cereal, so that when the kids eat them, they think, oh, this is candy, I'm having fun.
And and they were just laughing over here. It was just him sitting there, and then I think Mike stuck his head out of the doorway and just said hi. I was like, "Hi." And then so it was great and fun. And of course, I left, and this is what I do at all my auditions. I suck. I was horrible. You know what I mean? I so rarely would ever leave, going, all right.
Right. It's
And
usually
then-
the ones you totally nail that you never hear from again.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how long it was until I got the phone call. I don't know, by from that time to, hey, Mindy, they want you to do, this film and blah blah blah. And I was just like, oh my God. And God, it was just like the start of my career. It was like the first one came
Yeah.
out. The first one came out, and nobody really knew about it or saw it. It wasn't a hit. And then when it went to what is the VHS or no?
DVD or like
Something
when
whatever.
it's
Yes,
on
I
HBO or
but whatever. It just all of a sudden, got a place to be, and then it was like, okay, we're gonna do another one, and
okay,
then
well, let's slow down just a bit. So when you're shooting the film, okay, so now you're in character. You've got this lady. You've got the relationship. How much did you know in that first movie? Was she just a henchwoman, and that's all you knew of the relationship, or
yeah.
was it the whole blown storyline that would be over the three movies?
Oh no, no, it was definitely not that. They were just one at a time. They were just trying to get this one film out, and so yeah, so it was just like just do what you do, and all that kind of stuff, and the relationship between me and Mike. Mike was, she probably like I think he said something like, well, she probably runs the whole thing, but
Gotcha.
there's something, something going on with the two of them. And so, yeah. And,
Well, there's lots of rumors about Mike as far as like everyone has different opinions of him. What's your experience working with Mike?
nothing but wonderful.
Great.
He's a perfectionist. He comes and he looks at his stuff, even though he wasn't the director, he was very much involved in it. But
Sure.
I never came across something where you go, ooh, that's an ugly side of him at all. He couldn't have been,
That's great.
I think whatever people have of him is the perfectionism, and it's just, maybe if he's having a hard day, as some of us do,
Yeah.
but no, I never ever saw any of that. He was there to have fun. He was there. If I made him laugh or giggle or smile, I was in heaven.
Yeah. That's the drug that keeps us happy every single day, which goes to my next question. So you're sitting at this crazy table of, I think Will Ferrell's at one part of it, you, Mike. In the other movies, then you've got Rob Lowe doing Robert Wagner. You've got him doing Fat Bastard, and I mean we're jumping around.
Right.
But when you're shooting these things and you're on this set with all of this crazy talent, what is that day like?
Well, we have to get through it, and you would really hold on to it. And I loved hearing, when Jay would go and cut, and then the crew were like hysterical, and it was just like, oh my God, thank God, I thought I was going to lose it, and it was just, yeah. I mean, you were like, how did I? I don't want to ever come down from this dream, that I'm
Right.
being involved in. And it was just, you couldn't wait to get there to the set. You couldn't wait to listen to Robert Wagner's stories. You couldn't wait to be around Seth Green, and him and I were like buddies. And then there
He's
was just like,
so funny in these movies. You guys are so good together. Obviously, you're good with everybody, but you guys, I mean, I don't know him personally,
He's a
but
dog.
I really admire his work. When you're talking about that relationship, you're literally an internet meme with Scott. How does that come around?
I mean, when I see these memes that pop up, I'm like, I'm sorry. But if I don't ever do anything again, this is pretty amazing.
Right.
Yeah, and I love it when people, oh my God, I saw you. There's another meme. There's another meme. I mean, really, come on, Patrick. That's huge. That's huge. And my
Yeah,
son
it
is
is.
constantly reminding me, Mom, do you know who you are? You're Mindy fucking Sterling. And whatever mood I'm in at the time, I'm just like, thank you, Max. Thank you. Sometimes I have to, but it's just.
How did that come about? Was it just a line in the script, and then that's your choice? That it came out. She yells Scott, and he comes in.
Well,
and
it
then
says,
becomes something.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you're looking at the script, and it's like, oh, she yells here, and that is how I yell, because when I yell, my voice gets real shrill. So, I'll do something. Max is in the other room, and if I'm calling him 3 or 4 times, it's like, Max, and you know what I mean? And that's just where my voice goes. So, and probably the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 times that I did it, it just got such a buzz that I thought, oh, okay, well, I'm just yelling.
Can you give us a Scott, please?
Yes, yes. Scott!
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. I'm so excited for you for those type of things because you don't know on the day. Obviously, you said with the crew. If you can get the crew laughing, know you're onto something.
Yeah.
Okay, that we know because they've seen everything.
Yeah.
So you're doing this movie. You shoot the first movie. Unlike an audition, because you're watching other performers, we can sometimes have a much better opinion of the movie than our own performance.
Right.
When you were doing that first movie, what was your thought? I mean, it didn't do great, apparently, surprisingly, but did you think it was going to, did you think you were being successful at what you guys were doing?
Well, I remember reading the script and laughing out loud, and I don't really laugh out loud at scripts. And I just thought, I am in good hands. I am in good hands. And Mike is, and I loved his work. I loved, what he did. So it would make me laugh, and it would make. So I was still, oh my God, in awe of being here, and I want to do the best that I can, and blah 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 blah, and then hooking up with Seth and being able to talk to him, and I have a buddy now on set, and and having Troy, be incredible, and it felt like home. I mean, it was very, and as you go to the second and then to the third, you're blown away by, there's something here, and I don't think I realized how infectious it was for people, and how it still to this day gives everybody, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, it's you. I mean, I get stopped all the time. I do all these Comic-Cons, which I love doing. And to have someone go, oh my God, do you understand that when I was blah, 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 16, and then, and they love to share their lives, and, and it's really, if I'm ever in a bad mood, all I have to do is think about that.
Well, it's one of the few, and I think there's only a few of them where if you've done 3 movies, a trilogy or whatever, there's always one that's like, well, that's not as good.
Right.
That's not the case here. Each one, you guys iterated the characters, the storyline, and the execution so that it was, each individual one was, I think, just wonderful.
Yeah, I mean,
when
after
you're
the first
starting
one,
this,
the first one, did well. Oh my God, finally, now this has come out. Then it did. Everybody was like, "Oh, I get it." Maybe they were just going, "What is this? This is weird."
Right.
Which it was, and then it just got its legs.
And so when you go back to do the second one, Rob Lowe joins, who surprised me and I think everyone else at how funny he is, and a bunch of other people, of course, as well. But when you're starting the second one, is it, on an acting level, are you concerned about not having that same magic that happened in the first one, or are you just looking at the new jokes going, oh, this is going to be great?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is funny. It was just, you would do things funny, and then if I'm, when I come into, when Mike and I see each other after we've had a night of love making,
Right. It got weird, Mama.
Yes, and I come in and go, I'm late, and he goes, oh no, you're okay, and it's like, no, I'm late, and how he laughed at me when we first did that, and I went, oh my God, I made him laugh. And then we just had a hard time with that scene, so I kept going, okay, I can't look at you, so I'm going to look at your ear or something, But when you do that, and then you hear the crew, laugh, it's like, oh, look, we're going to do two, pretty good. Okay, all right, what? I'm sorry, we're going to do three? You want me again?
Wow.
Yeah.
And of course, I mean, we talked about it briefly, but I think everyone would love to see a fourth one because the characters are so strong. You guys are still going strong as far as like, it's not like someone disappeared and like, oh, what's happening? It's just,
And we need it.
I think it would be really fun.
Don't you? I mean, we need
Do we?
it.
Oh my
We need
God,
the
yeah, we
laughter.
need
We
it.
need the silliness. We need something that everybody, has gravitate to being one of the biggest, films. So everybody wants to know every time I see someone. So I heard that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Please don't ask me anymore. But yeah, I just you hope that maybe one more before we all have to.
I think everybody wants it.
I
mean,
know,
it's.
I know.
I think he's. I don't know, Mike, but it feels like he's gearing up for it because he kind of come out of wherever he was. I guess he was raising a kid.
Yeah, he was
So.
raising kids and yeah, I mean, and if you see every now and then he'll do like a little thing about it or throw it out. So I don't know. Whatever that is, it just has to be. But yeah, it was pretty special.
We'll be back after these messages.
Hey there, my name is Patrick Labyorteaux, and I play an actor on TV. And I also have this acting school called Working Actors School. And what we do there is we teach people to act using Zoom. So you can take an acting class with me and with a person in Connecticut, in Florida, and San Diego all at the same time. Thanks to the miracle of Zoom. But we also teach kids. We have a great class called the Youth Weekly class that's every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. And it's for kids. It's for like 10 to 17. And we have a great group of kids right now. And it is ongoing. So if you know someone that wants to get into acting and has never done any acting but would love to try, why don't you have them try starting off with Youth Weekly? Just go to workingactorschool.com and check us out. It's Youth Weekly every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time.
Act 3, present day.
Now, help me explain to the rest of the world here who's not a working actor. You're like a super duper working actor. You do 3 Austin Power movies, so you must live in a mansion up in the hills with a swimming pool, and you're set for life, and your kids will never have to worry for money, right? Isn't that how it works?
No. Absolutely no. I know because I've had people say, "Where do you live?" And yeah, do you have a big house? No. I have my little. I'm in the Santa Monica area, which is nice, but
Beautiful.
I don't own a home. I live very, very easy, and I watch my money.
Yep.
I mean, you can't just go. I mean, some people can, I guess, but the more money you make, the more money you spend. And
Yes,
so
and there's
it's,
and plus there's agents and
It's
all the
all-
other things that
yes.
go along with it. But let's be realistic on something like this. And again, I'm not talking money for money's sake, but the reality of it is the first one is probably just everyone's seeing what the movie's like. The
Yeah.
second one, you get a pay bump. The third one is like, okay, well, but we got to keep the budget down because it can't be too expensive. And so it's like it's always a negotiation.
I think one of the best things I did, it might have been I think it was the last one. I was thinking of because I was still I was probably the one that got the last of everything of that group, but still it was nice. And but I did say I talked to Robin, who was Mike's
wife
at that time, and I said somebody mentioned to me that I should get a PR person. And what a PR person does is they try to elevate who you are, by doing certain shows or going to parties or, all that kind of stuff. And she said, I'd love to, work with you. So I did do that, and it helped. It really did help. It got me doing things. I was on, oh my God, this is so long ago. What is it's not Tic-Tac-Toe, but what is it called again, that show?
Hollywood Squares.
Yes, I was in Hollywood Squares, and it was Halloween. So I was Frau.
Oh, cool.
I was Frau, and
Oh, wow.
And so everybody was something, and so I did get more and more people see who I
This is
was.
so weird that you brought this up. My wife and I were just talking about IP and NDAs, and I used the example. I said, "Well, if you're doing a character and you're doing it for someone else, did you have to get approval to portray Frau on Hollywood
Oh
Squares?
yeah.
I mean, because they own the character, they don't own you,
Well,
but
I
it's your
get, yeah.
performance as that character."
I mean, I guess, the I think the last time I did a con, they wanted to do some pictures of me as Frau. So I had an outfit, and then in fact I can show you this. Um, let's see. So I don't know if you can see.
That's
So that,
awesome.
that is a horrible, horrible wig, but the outfit was
That's
not
the
mine.
worse, the better.
I know.
It's like it's so awesome because
So
it's so bad.
I did that, and now I just did that on my own. I didn't ask. There wasn't anybody, but
Well, but I mean, it's not national television either. I get that, but I'm just talking about like for Hollywood Square.
yeah, no,
So
it all
you've
worked
got
out, believe
so many. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it just they did everything correctly. They knew how this worked.
Before we get into the questions, which we'll finish up here, I just had to ask one other thing, which is it's obviously, again, a holiday favorite, The Grinch Stole Christmas. People have been raised with this movie. You're a huge part of this movie in Whoville. What was that generally? What was that experience like for you?
Another magical time because I mean, look who we got to be. Look, with all of the prosthetics and oh my God, Ron Howard. Did you ever work with Ron Howard?
I have not. I would love to. I hear only good things.
Oh,
Please tell me good things.
Oh my God. Oh my God. One of the loveliest, most wonderful people, and the people that he brings in, the crew and the everyone that works with him, fantastic. And he is just an incredible person, and
Yeah.
so that was incredibly exciting. The idea that I got to go and meet him, didn't audition because it
Right.
really wasn't an audition because he was still working on getting people to play the Who's. I got in there and we talked to him, and about improv, and anyway, so I didn't know what I would end up being, and then
Right.
and then being the biddies, and and that every year, probably for the rest of everyone's lives, that will always be playing.
Yeah,
This is
absolutely.
Christmas.
Now, I got a chance to work with Jim Carrey in a movie called Yes Man, where it was a very standard human character.
Right.
From what I understand backstage, he was going through some major issues because of the makeup and how uncomfortable and
Yes.
going through being tortured training, to try to get through it. What is it like when you're working on a movie like that where there's something that's so different and he's so because anything that happens on the set in my mind at that point is like the guy's under a tremendous amount of stress. What was
Okay.
your experience with
Yes.
that?
No, I mean, I thought, oh, wow, I'm going to work with another, funny guy. How fun. We're going to have so much fun. No, not at all. He wasn't mean. He wasn't, abusive. He wasn't, he
Right.
just was, it was so difficult for him to have this entire thing. I think it took him hours to get all this on, and the eyes and the blah, blah, blah. And, I just had with the nose here. And
Yeah.
I mean, we all were transforming, but he had a lot of issues.
So you never saw any, I mean, obviously he wasn't abusive in any way, but it's but I'll explain like this. What was really interesting is a writer for Mad TV who worked with him for many, many years described him like this. So this is a third person version. This is not a judgment on Jim Carrey, but I found it fascinating. He's like a balloon. When he's performing, he's big and bright, and when he's not performing, he's shriveled, small, and just like an uninflated balloon. That there's not that spark
Yeah.
there. And it's like when you're doing something like Jim Carrey does, the energy management through a day of performing has to be kind of controlled. So I get it.
Short.
But
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, it was you definitely. And so you learn to, if he was in the scene, he was working on something, I would watch him, and instead of like hanging out and talking to the actors and blah blah blah, he would be going through his thing and working on it, and I was like, totally fine. You know what I mean? So I don't have anything bad to say about him. I just
Yeah.
it was,
How long was the production? How long did you get to work on that?
I want to say maybe was it 6 weeks? Like not every week, but
Stupid Ron Howard's so efficient. I was hoping for like a 6-month paycheck.
you know what I mean, I don't, to be honest with you, I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been doing it every day, but I don't know. I mean, it was a lot for me, and
Yeah.
which was great. But yeah, I'm not sure how long we did that.
We'll be back after these messages.
Hey there, my name is Patrick Labyorteaux, and I play an actor on TV. And I also have this acting school called Working Actors School. And what we do there is we teach people to act using Zoom. So you can take an acting class with me and with a person in Connecticut, in Florida, and San Diego all at the same time, thanks to the miracle of Zoom. Now, besides classes, I also offer a one-on-one session. It's an hour just between you and me working on a particular piece of material, whether it's for an upcoming audition or maybe you're working on something and you need to have that breakthrough moment. These are really, really fun, and they're really, really great because they're really personalized and intense in all the good ways that intense can be. So if you're working on something, if you want to break through, if you want to have a one-on-one session where you're not working with other people, this is the way to do it. All the information is in the classes page on workingactorsschool.com.
Act 4. Questions.
Okay, so here we are. We're at the end here with the questions.
Okay.
Your first question is called That's Showbiz. What was the most Hollywood moment in your life?
Oh my God, like going to a party or just in general?
Whatever you feel that fits that phrase of like, oh my gosh, this is so Hollywood.
Well, I think probably like the first, probably party I went to, and I can't have no memory of it, but I remember, being, really sort of shy and kind of new to everything. You would walk in and you'd be like, oh my, everybody's kissing it. I mean, just from things like on TV, and you're like, oh my God, things that you're like, please don't ever, put me in this situation again.
Which leads to the second question. That's Showbiz Part 2. What's the most embarrassing Hollywood moment?
Oh my God, I have no idea. I don't think I have anything to feel
Okay.
embarrassed about.
Answers fair.
Okay.
This one's called Show Me the Money. Now, I'm not looking for any like numbers as far as the amounts, but like, what was your biggest missed financial opportunity? Because in this town, lots of things happen. You hear things on sets. You have friends in the business, and hey, we want to do this, want to do that. What would you say was your biggest?
What do you mean by want to do this, want to do that? Like what?
Like, on the set, like, it's like, oh, everyone's investing in this company, or
Oh.
I've got this script. Would you take it to so-and-so? And you're like, no, thanks. And then it turns out to be, like Top Gun.
Something big? Oh, no. I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever had that. I don't think I've ever looked at it and went, oh my God, what a fool. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Show and tell, as a teenager, favorite poster in your room, and how did you come to obtain it?
Okay, I loved the Monkees.
Uh-huh.
And I loved, oh God, the drummer, Mickey.
Right? Uh-huh. Mickey Dolenz.
Mickey Dolenz, and it was on my closet door, and it was the Monkees, but it was just really, it was all about him.
Now, you worked with him in Invader Zim, and that him I'm speaking of is Richard Horvitz, who loves the Monkees.
Oh, I don't.
He absolutely loves the Monkees.
Yeah, no, I just remembered. I remember this though. Years ago, I was at a Comic-Con, and he was at one place, one of the things, and I went over there and I went, "Hi," I said, "I'm just I mean, you were like a fan of mine when I was, growing up. And he went, thank you, thank you, thank you. Do you want a picture? And he had no idea who I was.
Oh no, that's your most embarrassing Hollywood moment.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and he wasn't like just talking. It was just immediately like, would you like? And I went, no, that's okay, but thank you. You know what I mean? I thought maybe,
Right.
maybe
Right.
he'd go, oh my God, I love your work too. But no.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure. A lot of times people are out of their heads at conventions because it's a weird vibe. Can sometimes depends on the convention, and sometimes you're just not in that space of like being. You're used to being recognized. You're not recognized.
Exactly, especially in a con. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So 2 more questions. Okay. Second to last is showdown. What's the best thing you've ever done and the worst thing you've ever done professionally? Max is obviously the best thing, but professionally.
Okay, so the best thing I've ever done would have to be Austin Powers.
Okay.
Just because that
fair.
That got my life going. And then and what was the other one?
The worst thing you've ever done.
God, there's just way too many. You may look at those, that resume and look at all the things that I've done, but I can probably go through there and go in that one moment of a day, go, oh God, that was horrible. But nothing comes to me, a particular.
Have you had like the worst day on set ever? Like, I will never work with blank again, and you don't have to tell me who, but like, have you ever had that?
No, I mean, if I did, I don't really remember. I do. Sometimes I'm trying to think who it would be, though. They don't talk to you, so they're just kind of in their own world.
Last question is, show me some love. What's your favorite performance of mine?
Oh, my God. That has to be the little thing on the, what is it?
No, I'm not going to save you on this one.
Oh,
I want to hear your versions of it.
Wasn't it? Weren't you were in little?
Yeah, no, you got it. Little.
What?
I want to hear your versions of the title.
The little prayer. The little prayer. Max, what is the Little House on the Prairie? Max just told me that. Max just is laughing hysterically. I don't remember anything, but like that immediately comes to me.
That's great.
Epilogue.
Thank you for being a part of our show.
love
Thank you for doing this. Is there anything you want to plug? It's going to be on in this next month that you want to just get out there, or any websites or anything?
You know what? Just check in on my Instagram, which is Mindy Mindy Ster Ster, Mindy Ster, and then because if I have stuff coming up, I'll put it on there.
Perfect. The link is right below in the description, so everyone can click on it and get to it.
Yeah.
Mindy Sterling, you are a joy. Thank you for everything you taught me. Thank you for every time you've made me laugh, and every Christmas I watch you, and every time I pull out an Austin Power movie, and all those hours that I watched on Disney Channel with my son. Thank you.
I adore you and thank you.
It's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show. Patrick Labyorteaux. He's the one you gotta know.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. I'm really, really glad you're here and checking out the podcast. It is an audio podcast wherever you get your podcasts. It's a video podcast over on YouTube or on Spotify or wherever you get the video ones. All of my socials are Working Actors School on TikTok, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Please check us out. If you want any information about the school, it is at workingactorsschool.com. We've got classes going on all the time. And again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
It's the Patrick Labyorteaux Show. Patrick Labyorteaux. He's the one you gotta know.